Dr. Birute Galdikas is a world-renowned primatologist who's devoted the last 40 years of her life to studying and preventing the extinction of orangutans in Borneo. She's one of the conservationists featured in the about-to-be-released documentary, Born to be Wild. Dr. Galdikas, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
First off, this documentary is visually stunning. I was watching it and I immediately felt transposed into the rainforests of Borneo. Tell me, were you happy with the way it turned out?
I was actually thrilled with the way that the film turned out. Normally trailers are better than the film, but in this case the film was actually better than the trailer.
Yeah, it was incredible. And it really takes a very intimate look at your work with the orphaned orangutans and your efforts at conservation. Tell me, what is it that these animals are facing in Borneo?
Well, unfortunately, they're facing extinction. Orangutans are poised on the edge of extinction because their habitat, which is tropical rainforest, is absolutely being annihilated.
And your work doesn't go without challenges. I mean, you're in a country where the government doesn't always agree with the work that you're doing. Have there been risks involved? Have you ever felt for your safety while you've been there?
Actually, there have been risks involved. I've been in terrible situations that I don't even want to talk about. But I have to say one thing, and that is that the government of Indonesia itself, not necessarily individuals within it, but the government of Indonesia has been very, very supportive of my work. Otherwise, I would not have survived 40 years in the jungle. The government of Indonesia actually once put 2 police sergeants on patrol with me. So wherever I went, except in the bedroom and the bathroom, I had an Indonesian police sergeant with me at all times.
And you've been, in Borneo for 40 years. You've been with these animals almost like a surrogate mother right out of UCLA as a student.
That's right.
You've slept with them, you've fed them. In one fantastic scene in this film, you actually sit down with a cup of coffee and you're having a chat with one of them.
That's right.
After all of this research and all of the time you've spent in their natural habitat, what's the most fascinating thing that you've learned about them?
Well, what I've learned about them is their strength, which is the fact that they're solitary or semi-solitary in the wild, and they can't really live for long periods with other orangutans. Orangutans are very, very strong because basically they have to totally depend on themselves and nobody else, and that's their strength.
And much of your work is getting these orphans to the point where they're able to go back into their own natural environment. And there's a very poignant scene in the film where one of the orangutans, Pushtak, I believe the name is,
Yes.
is ready to go off and experience the world. How difficult is it for you to say goodbye, to let them go?
Well, I have very strong mixed emotions because it's wonderful to see them go back to the wild, but the wild also has its problems. So if they travel great distances away from the release camp, they will encounter people who might want to kill them. Right. They will encounter places where the habitat is gone. So I have very mixed emotions about letting them go. But you need to let them go because they really are born to live in the wild.
Right. It's almost like a parental relationship where, you're ready, you've raised your child, and then you're ready to sort of let them go off into the world and make their own experiences.
Right, and you can't control them or you can't protect them forever.
And tell me, what do you want people to be able to take away from this film?
Well, I hope that people get to know orangutans and become more aware of them as animals, as species, because most people aren't really sure exactly what an orangutan is like. And I would hope that people would care enough to get involved. For instance, they could adopt an orangutan, foster parent an orangutan.
Right.
And they can even come to Borneo, as some people do, and see their foster orangutan children in the
their
wild.
own environment.
Yes.
That must be quite an experience.
Yes.
The film is fascinating. Born to be Wild is in theaters starting this Friday. Dr. Birute Galdikas, thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.